Hello, 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 and welcome to the Cinema Corner. As always, I am your host, Alec Friedman. Today I want to do an episode just recapping all the stuff that I watched over the last week. Still waiting for everything to die down and things to get back to normal to start going back to movie theaters and seeing new releases, but as of now, it doesn't look like we're going to get any new releases at the very least until maybe November, October, and based on the way things are going, who knows if that'll get postponed even further. I know there were a lot of postponements yesterday. I think the new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson got pushed back, and I think Shazam was pushed back. Maybe a couple of other things were pushed back. So it doesn't look like we're going to get anything new for a while, so going to stay watching old movies at home. It kind of reminds me, actually, of on the Eric Andre show. One time Hannibal, in the middle of the show, was like, I think one year they should just stop releasing movies so we can catch up on all the stuff we missed. And you know what? It sounded like a nice idea and something I might have signed up for. But now that we're actually in that and not getting it, I kind of miss new releases, or at least I miss just going to a theater and watching it. Because as good as the movie is, watching it in your home, even on a 4K television with a good speaker, it doesn't compare to the power of watching it on the big screen. And yeah, sometimes it sucks. Sometimes people are annoying and on their phones or talking, and that's the worst. And theaters need to do a better job of that. But when it comes to just sitting and watching the film and experiencing it, there's really nothing better than sitting in a theater, lights down, head up, just watching a movie and getting taken to a new world. At least that's how I see it. But as of now, we're doing what we can, and I'm watching as many movies as I can to pass the time now. And I watched 4 movies over the last week. The first one I watched was George Lucas's American Graffiti. This is something I've really wanted to watch for a really long time. As you guys know, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but I never watched this or THX 1138. I'm going to watch that at some point for sure. And I watched American Graffiti. I watched Murder by Contract. The Criterion Channel was doing some live tweet about it, and I thought it looked interesting, so I checked it out, and I'm going to talk about that. I watched Jurassic Park for the first time. People been telling me to watch this since I was a little kid. I don't know why I've never seen Jurassic Park until a couple of days ago, but I finally watched it. And on Jackie Robinson Day, I watched 42. So let's get started. First, I watched American Graffiti, and out of the 4, I think I liked this one the most. I really, really loved this film. It's impressive that this is from the same guy who came up with Star Wars, and it makes me sad that George Lucas doesn't make new films anymore. I mean, yeah, I'd like to see him make new Star Wars, but if he's gonna sell it, I wish he wouldn't just not make new films. I'd love to see him make new movies. What's been on his brain and on his mind for the last bunch of years, because this movie was really good. It takes place in 1960. It came out in 1973 or 4, I think. And it feels like it was made in the year 1960. They do an excellent job at making it a period piece. It's one of those night before college movies with a bunch of high school students, and it really hit a lot of nostalgic feels, even though I'm not from the 1960s. But the whole cast was great. In particular, Paul Le Mat, who played John Milner, was one of my favorite characters, I think, in any movie I've ever seen. I really, really loved his storyline. Him and Carol, they had a really good dynamic, and I really loved their storyline. Ron Howard's storyline was pretty good. Was probably my least favorite of all of them. Richard Dreyfuss's was really good too. It's funny because Jaws came out 2 years after this movie came out, and Richard Dreyfuss looks like he's 18 in American Graffiti. He looks like he's like 35 in Jaws. It's really funny. He ages quite considerably in those 2 years, or at least the makeup department on both movies is really impressive. But I really liked this movie a lot. It was filled with 1960s style, a great soundtrack, really good cinematography, and characters that I really, really liked. Again, especially Paul Le Mat as John Milner. I thought that was he did a really good job, and I really just loved this film a lot. It was a great watch. Even if you're not from that time period, it's very relatable, and you can kind of see yourself in all the characters. At least I was able to do that, and I really liked this film a lot. After that, I watched Murder by Contract. This is a film from 1958. According to Guillermo del Toro on Twitter, apparently this is a big film for Martin Scorsese. He was very much influenced and inspired by it. It was really, really cool film. I liked the main character a lot. Vince Edwards played Claude, and he's sort of like a sociopathic hitman. He's not interested in blood, vengeance, revenge. He's just interested in doing a job and taking out his target. He sees every single kill he does is not as like this kind of cathartic murder, but just like a simple job. He doesn't see them as people or a death. It's just a job to him, and it's a really interesting film. He has to work with these guys named Mark and George, played by Philip Pine and Herschel Bernardi, and I thought they added a lot to the film. The dynamic of the three of them, I thought was really entertaining and really fun. It provided some funny moments. The film ultimately is really short. It's about an hour and 20 minutes, and because of that, I feel like the second half feels a bit rushed and to the point. They could definitely do a little bit more to flesh out the character, especially the character of Billy Williams, who is the woman that Claude is hired to kill for majority of the movie. I think they could have definitely gone into more in that, but they don't. And it definitely feels a little bit quickly done in that regard. But overall, I really, really like the cinematography a lot. There's a lot of really great visual storytelling, especially when they're establishing the character of Claude. They do a really nice job letting you know what kind of person he is and what his life is like and what he wants just from the visual storytelling, the cinematography. They do a really good job. Irving Lerner does a really great job directing this film. I believe this is his most recognized and popular film, and it does happen to be very good. I wouldn't say it's one of the best films in the genre I've seen, but it's definitely up there. I really like it a lot. I kind of think that the concept of hitmen are interesting. I really enjoy things with hitmen. I really love the show Barry. I don't know if anybody watches that. It's a show about a hitman who's pretending to be an actor in Los Angeles. It's starring Bill Hader and Henry Winkler. It's a very good show. But back to Murder by Contract. I really like the title of this movie too. It's really to the point, and I like it, and tells you exactly what you need to know. And it's just a really good thriller. It could be a little more. It could be a little deeper, but for what we get, it's a very good film with really good cinematography. After that, I watched Jurassic Park. For the most part, I really enjoyed Jurassic Park. This, too, I felt like actually was kind of quick, and it's over 2 hours, but once it gets going, I guess it's just very fast-paced. I was looking at the credits, and I saw that it was written by David Koepp, who wrote the first Spider-Man film, and that makes a lot of sense to me. I feel like they're structured and paced very similar, these two films. I really liked it a lot. Steven Spielberg's cinematography is good as always. There are a couple of moments that I was genuinely scared. The most scared I was with Newman from Seinfeld. I don't remember what his name was in the movie. Went like face to face with that dinosaur that had the weird like flower thing around his head. Oh my god, I was like shaking watching that, sitting on the couch with like a blanket over my head. I was so scared during that part. It really frightened me. Like when it just like he's just standing there staring at him silently, and then the flower just pops out of his head. I'm like, oh my god, what is this dinosaur? This is like horrifying. And then he attacks him, and it's really scary. The effects for the most part are really, really well done. The first dinosaurs we see, the really, really tall ones with the long necks, I think those are called Bronchiosauruses, maybe? I'm not sure exactly. Those I thought were a little fake looking. But a lot of up-close dinosaurs, like the T-Rex and the Raptors especially, it's really exceptionally done. They do a great job of blending CGI with practical effects, and I really love when films are able to do that and really create these kind of creatures that you don't know if it's CGI or practical. When you can't tell and it just looks real, that's when they're doing a really good job. And I think more films should blend practical and CGI. I feel like a lot of films are too reliant on CGI, or they'll only use practical, and it becomes noticeable and obvious. But when you're switching it up and confusing the audience, you do a really good job of hiding the effects and just showing a really, really realistic stunt or creature. And the dinosaurs in this film, for the most part, look really, really good. I wasn't over the moon with the characters in this film. I didn't really care for them that much. My favorite character was Jeff Goldblum's Dr. Malcolm, but I thought he should have gotten more screen time, especially towards the end, because I really liked him a lot. But he wasn't in the film too much. I thought the kids were good too. They were funny, and they were like kind of smart, and the way they fought off the dinosaurs was really cool to watch, and I really liked both of them. And yeah, I'd say overall it was a really entertaining film. I know why people love it so much. It wasn't like an all-time favorite for me or anything like that, but I did think it was really, really good. It was very tense and scary at times. It was fun, and it's really imaginative and really interesting, and it's definitely a classic for a reason. Lastly, on Jackie Robinson Day, I watched 42, the Jackie Robinson biopic. This movie disappointed me. I'm a big Jackie Robinson fan, a big baseball fan, and I just feel like he deserved a better movie, to be honest. This movie, cinematography, I think, felt very basic and stilted. And my biggest complaint, honestly, is there was really like a lack of a narrative drive to this movie. The entire film was sort of just like a sequence of events that didn't really necessarily feel connected in terms of story. I mean, I get why they were shown. They were sequential events that happened over the course of 2 seasons. But it's like, why are you showing me this specific game? Why are you showing me that? And one of the things the film does do very well is highlighting the discrimination and the racism and the barriers that Jackie had to overcome. The film does that really wonderfully by creating these really gross and ugly racist characters and showing him really just try to ignore them and just play his game. But I felt they could have done more for the character of Jackie Robinson. They should have shown him, really given him more of a character arc, more to do in this film, other than sort of be this symbol. But again, what the film does do well is showing you the struggles that the guy faced. I just wish that it would have been done with maybe a little more visual storytelling, a little better cinematography, and definitely more narrative drive to the character of Jackie Robinson. I felt like there's definitely more for them to cover, but it was a nice tribute. I really liked Chadwick Boseman's performance as Jackie Robinson. He really nailed the role pretty well. He's a good actor. He plays a lot of important characters, and he does this one very exceptionally. Harrison Ford as Branch Rickey was okay. It was a little goofy at some times, but it was fine. Honestly, this is just like, I throw this in the category of like fine biopics. It wasn't anything special, but they told the story of an important person, and it was mostly entertaining and mostly good, and I mostly liked it. So yeah, that's everything that I watched over the past week. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to watch this week, but I'll let you guys know at the end of the week when I do another recap. But let me know what you guys have been watching. As always, you can follow me on Twitter @_CinemaCorner. And like I said last episode, I now have an Instagram account, and that's the cinema_corner. So follow me on both of those things. Let me know what you've been watching. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my thoughts on these films. And yeah, just keep watching movies. Keep doing whatever you're doing to get you through this tough time. I know it's crazy for everyone, but hopefully we could be out of it soon and be back to normal. It really sucks, but we just got to get through it, and it'll be all right in the end, I hope. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Good night, film lovers.